Guys, before you watch this video, click on the link below. My new book, Ripped at 50, A Journey to Self-Love, is out now. I've spent the last 31 years amassing this information. It has the 9 pillars of health that apply to all human beings. Hey guys, Troy Casey, certified health nut, here on planet Earth at the Sedona Vortex. Look at this place! And I got my friend Nate, right? Nathan.
What's going on?
He's a good friend of mine, Paul Skids, another Czech practitioner, so he's a high-level fitness guy. He got into rehab from his own injuries. So he's gonna take me through some assessments and give me some tools to work with my biomechanics so that I can be healthy and upright into my 80s, 90s, and 100s. So we're gonna work with Nate, but first we wanna hear a little bit about your journey and what brought you to this level of rehabilitation, corrective exercise, human optimization.
So I'm 28 years old. I'm from Tempe, Arizona, and I started my fitness journey in 2011. I was in bodybuilding, I was in powerlifting, I was on 6 different steroids, growth hormone, just completely putting myself through the ringer, just in pain, just a lot of pain, especially suppressed pain.
What was the motivation though? Was it fitness? Was it did you have some kind of hang up and you're like, I'm gonna show the world? Like, what was the whole drive with the steroids and the strength and then injuries and then pain, but still doing the same sport? What was that drive?
It was all trauma. It was trauma. It was just putting on a mask and wanting to wear a mask because I felt as though if I looked a certain way and if I built myself a certain way, then people would accept me. Then people would love me because I didn't love myself. I didn't love myself at all. So I masked my pain and I masked, my childhood trauma and wounding with this very, very hard exterior so that way people couldn't see really who I was, right? And it was also like, well, if other people validate me, then, oh, now I'm good enough. Right? So it was all of that, just shadows coming in.
And I see that with a lot of athletes, with women that get silicone breast implants. They're doing these things to fit into society and whatever their cultural program or wounded trauma is as well. So thanks for sharing that. But go ahead, you're 28, you messed up your hand?
Yes, sir. So March 2017, leaned on a granite counter and snapped off, tore my whole hand open. 4 tendons, radial artery, median nerve, just completely gone. Can't feel this finger or half of this finger. And that pretty much propelled me into the work, whether it be the inner work or just wanting to know how to heal myself. Because I went through physical therapy and I went through hand therapy and I went through all these different therapies. And essentially they basically told me that, well, you're never gonna have full function in your hand again.
Yeah, and that's usually a great driver to do the exact opposite. Robbie Madison was told he'd never ride a motorcycle again, and he broke his rib, almost punctured his aorta. Of course, he saw Paul Chek, and the rest is history. He's jumped Caesar's Palace, and he's still riding motorcycles. He just surfed the biggest wave in the world with his motorcycle. So, anyhow, tell somebody if you want somebody to do something, tell them they can't do it.
Yeah,
and then they'll be driven.
Oh, 100%. I've always been a rebel my entire life, so go figure.
So awesome. So okay, you got injured hand, you're young, and you didn't want to take your injury or your death sentence from the doctors laying down, right? So
yeah, definitely not. So I dove in, and luckily I got introduced to a chiropractor who brought me into what I specialize in now, which is dynamic neuromuscular stabilization, so DNS for short. Refer to that a couple times.
Oh, I have lax joints anyways. That's the way I came out of the womb. So I'm really happy to get the assessment. But go ahead.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead. And then, again, I just started looking into other ways to heal myself, on different ways to move my body. So I dove into animal flow. I started, picking up kettlebells and steel maces rather than dumbbells and barbells. And I started finding out that there were so many different principles associated with how to train the human body versus just the tools that you use. Right? It's not about the tool you use. It's about the principles that you implement with those tools.
So what are some of the basic principles, or if you've got them all?
So number one, it's definitely breathing, right? Breathing drives all movement, everything in the human body. That's the first and foremost thing. Next thing would be the actual joint function itself. Like, do you have passive ranges of motion? Awesome, which is what most fitness is teaching now, you know, can you get into a deeper stretch? Can you hold this certain pose for a certain amount of time? But then can you actively control that range of motion? Can you move that joint through the full range of motion without pain, without compensation, right? And looking at the full articulation and control of everything.
Wow. So I stole a move off of a YouTube sensei out in Thailand. This guy's a Shaolin badass. And he taught me, it's kind of like the yoga hip flexor crescent pose mixed with a martial arts punch or a block. So I've been practicing it since I saw him, and this guy was full force, kill force, you know. So he basically, you get into the crescent and then you come over here. And I've just been training this to open up this area and also have the dynamic mechanics. And it's not like I'm perfect or anything, but I was able to come off, and then the more years I do it, the more power and agility that I'm bringing into it. And so, and that's why I love martial arts, because there's a lot of little tweaks that are rehab minded or advanced age minded built into either Qigong, Tai Chi, or even some of the Kung Fu's and stuff. And so that makes sense. So I like that. So carry on, don't let me interrupt you too much, but yeah.
But yeah, then there's joint centration or stabilization, right? So it's like when you have a joint capsule, right? Say we've addressed the passive range of motion, the active range of motion, and we have both of those now. Awesome. Now we need to know how to stack our joint properly to where we don't have this like shearing of these joints, right? We want to stack them and jack them. That way we get that full rotation, right? So we need to make sure that we're stacking and stabilizing our joints properly, especially under load, right? And then another principle besides that from there is just utilizing the kinetic chains. So, you know, in general fitness, they teach anterior, posterior. Whereas I look at it from a place of 5 different kinetic chains. And this is what Joseph Schwartz from Movement Mantra teaches, is the intrinsic chain, right? The deep longitudinal chain. How are we absorbing shock, right? Are we springs, right? Can we act as springs, right? We need to be springy, right? We're naturally hunters. Right, especially if a saber-toothed tiger
and we run our animals down too.
Exactly.
Right. So my guy, he trains these guys to run on the Kalahari Desert, 100-mile races, and they're barefoot. And the mechanics are completely different. I see him run, and he looks like a gazelle walking across the street. I tried to do it, but I must have to train my plantar fasciitis to respond a little bit different, because it kind of ripped up my calves.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned the plantar fasciitis, because a lot of people, they think that like, oh, if it's in pain, or if it's in discomfort, or if it's stiff, or if it's tight, I need a stretcher, I need a tissue mash, and I need to put a ball in it. But in reality, that's probably a sign of weakness, right? So how can we start training our feet, right? How can we start training the intrinsics of our feet using our mind, using our toe control, using, you know, different aspects of our feet to twist things apart and pull them together
and get these adductors activated. And everything. I notice the older I get, some of my mechanics, including my picking it up however I can, but I start with the mind.
Right.
I'm like, all right, make that work.
Creatures, with every step we take, there's slight degrees of rotation within each vertebrae. So why are we just training full locomotion beings?
Yeah, baby.
Crazy, dude. I love it.
All right, so let me know if you're done with the story, and then let's get into some movement.
Yes, sir.
Anything else you wanted to tell the people? Finish up?
This is gonna be fun.
Had to get naked to show you guys the assessment and how my body moves. So wouldn't be Certified Health Nut without it. All right, so Nathan is going to assess my biomechanics and the health of the Certified Health Nut and show me some things that I could stabilize my joints and just being a more effective human.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna see if you can control your feet first. So just go ahead and stand.
If I can control my feet.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead and get some good roots. And now, what I want you to do, lift all 5 toes up. There you go. Yeah, your ankles like to roll in. Try to make sure the balls of your feet and the heels stay planted like a good tripod for your body.
Okay.
All right. And now, yeah, keep this down right there. Now what I want you to do, press your big toes down only. All right. You see how you roll in on that a little bit to compensate? Really try to make sure this stays down over here. Yeah, and get that big toe down. Yeah, keep the other 4 up.
Is this an actual exercise?
Uh-huh. It's an actual intrinsic foot exercise.
Yeah.
So you can actually start strengthening the flexors of the big toes. Right, and now bring all 5 up. find your tripod again. Try not to put too much weight on the heel. Try to have these 3 points here,
Yeah.
and then center that right down the middle, right? You want to try to have that midfoot low to get the maximum amount of stability there. And now keep the big toe up, and now press the other 4 down. You said you had an issue with your left side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this toe right here likes to keep that down right there. There we go. And now put all 5 of them down. And now keep the big toes down, lift the other 4 up. Good. Try not to roll the ankles. Bring them back down. Yep. Try to keep your tripod here. Right. Bring the other 4 up without rolling the ankles. We got some work to do over there.
This is some intricate work, man.
And now put these down. And now lift only the big toes. Ooh. All right.
We got some glitches in the matrix.
Yeah, some glitches in the matrix. Yeah, all right. So we're gonna need to get.
You're like, all right, we understand your psychological dysfunction. Just from a toe assessment, we understand how your mind works, Troy. You're fucked. We're gonna put you in jail now for the rest of your life.
Beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna check.
So what did you see with that?
So essentially, what I saw is you have a lot of compensation, right? Anyways, so it's like we don't have that full articulation and control to activate our toes, right? Because when we do that, we should have the ability to just lift one each individually.
Right.
Right? So when you start rolling and pronating, right? When you start rolling those ankles in to compensate, it tells me that you lack the extension of those other lateral 4 toes. When you roll and supinate to get the big toes up, it tells me you lack that big toe extension, right? And if we don't have full big toe extension, what's gonna happen a lot of the time is when we take a step, right? We're gonna take our next one, and this foot, instead of coming all the way up, right, it's gonna slip out. And we start seeing slipping out, slipping out, slipping out. And then the entire leg rotates and then turns on all this stuff out here.
I think I have an internal rotation with this leg because of that vein, but it makes sense. So go ahead, get that train of thought.
So then we keep we have just like lateral hip movement, right? And then we start seeing it move upwards, right? So again, it's like, it's not saying that's the issue, right? But it's saying it's a potential cause, right? We want to identify any potential root causes so that way we can put together a sequence of things to move from our way up, right? Our feet are the first thing that touch the ground, so those are the first things that we should assess. Those are the first things that we should also take care of to ensure that we can absorb that energy from the earth as we store that energy and translate it through time and space, right?
So the feet are super important in what you do.
I think the feet are behind breath are the second thing, the first things I look at.
Where's that on Paul Chek's totem pole of because the slave joints and all that stuff is down lower. I think he's thoughts, then he is breath, then he's mastication. So where does that translate?
It's not in checks, but this is actually more so from like the FRC work. So this is more from FRC and like full articulation control. And that's how I assess, is I look at joint by joint all the way through using the functional range assessment, right? Passive ranges of motion, active ranges of motion. And of course we don't have a table today, but we're gonna do and kind of modify anything that we need to, right?
Okay,
So
great.
go ahead and get down into like a half kneeling now.
Half kneeling?
Yeah, where like your one knee's down, one foot's up. Yeah, and then we're just gonna check the ankle now, right? So we're just gonna check, since our ankle has, ankle plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, all I want you to do is just drive this forward, keep your heel down. We're gonna see what this looks like, as far as you can. Just keep that down right there. Yeah, so as long as you get about a fist distance in front of the foot, passive range is normally pretty good. All right, now what I want you to do, we're gonna back up, hold right there, and now what I want you to do is flex this foot up to your shin. Okay, so essentially what we want to see is, the angle right here?
Yeah.
Right? And see how you're kind of compensating by shifting this hip back here? Right? That active dorsiflexion is not as much as, relax, and then go all the way forward again, as passive dorsiflexion, right?
Okay.
So if we see this angle here with passive dorsiflexion, we want about, we'll lift this up, about 85% of whatever that was, right? Which you're close, and I don't have a goniometer or anything to measure it, right? But we'll just say that it's slightly deficient, right? So our active range of motion is not 85% of our passive range of motion.
Okay.
So we can now improve that somehow.
So that's a strengthening.
So what we want to do is definitely strengthen dorsiflexion.
Strengthen.
Active dorsiflexion, yeah.
Actually, an Egoscue person gave me a long time ago ankle circles.
Ankle cars, yeah. Circles.
And I neglected to do them.
Oh, well.
Charlene, God bless you, but I remember and I will do them.
So let's take a look at the other one. Let me see the right one. All right, so go ahead and just drive that knee forward here. Okay, a little bit more restrict on this side. And then come back, and then raise that. Yeah, right ankle's a little bit more sticky. All right, we're gonna work on both of those. Cool, so I'll just make a little mental note of that. So,
I also have, the bone needs to crack, but when I go sideways in triangle pose and I put the shear energy down that way,
right.
it can get a little pain in there, but it feels like the bone needs to crack. But I have my reflexologist on there and he helped it a little bit, but it hasn't gone away. And this is only developed in the last couple of years. So it's just strange, but I'm willing to work with it. And I think the Earth Runners are helping me as well. They're flattening out my feet even more.
And then you said you have like plantar fasciitis. Is it on more of this foot or that foot?
No, but I'll tell you one thing that I have. I have the back. What is this bone right here?
Calcaneus heel.
Yeah. So this, in the last 6 months, has gotten extremely painful to the touch.
Okay.
Do you know what that's from?
Not necessarily, and it's hard to say. I mean, there's no like bruising or swelling or
I
anything like
did
that.
try and do the barefoot running a couple of times, and I know that there's a lot of training because my legs are completely sore when I try and do that, and then run on the balls of my feet. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So I got to get a new training style because every time I try that, it just locks up my legs. And then this might be a residual, but if I hit this the wrong way, it's extremely painful.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's in the bone, but maybe there's a lot of fascia here too, right?
Yeah, I mean, what we just checked and what it could be as well is just like when we checked your passive range of motion, like your dorsiflexion was lacking here, right? And your right leg dominant, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And if you're forefoot running, if you're front foot running on the balls of your feet, right, you're going to be constantly more in a plantar flex state where the ankle's pushing down.
Yeah.
So that way, if you have a really tight Achilles here,
Yeah.
and tight calf stuff here, if you look at the bioflow of everything, if you look at like the fascia, right, that's just creating tension and could be pulling on it, right, which could be a potential cause, right? Not saying what it could be or what it is, but
This is bone or connective tissue or both?
well, I mean, you got to think fascia, like it encapsulates everything. So it doesn't matter if it's bone or connective tissue, or if it's tissue, or if it's the joint or anything else. Like the fascia covers everything, right? And if you look at the deep back line, it goes from the bottom of the foot, wraps all the way around the entire back of the body.
Head.
And you got to think in the foot, we have 3 different fascial lines that cross that, right? We have our posterior spiral, we have our anterior spiral, right, our functional lines, right? We have our lateral line, and we have our deep back line, right, or deep front line, right? So we have 3 different types of, fascia that intersect at the foot alone, which is why the foot is so important, and if we have, again, if your pattern while you're running is forefoot running, and on top of that, your right leg dominant, and let's say you probably lack some type of hip function as well, right? And we don't have a proper gait stride, right? What's going to happen, right? We're going to have improper step and 10,000 steps a day with plantar flex state. We're going to see this tension just start creating more and more and more and more and more, right? At least that's that would be my approach to it initially.
Okay.
Without any diagnostics or medical equipment or any of that stuff.
Right.
That's just in my head how it works, and that's how I like to approach things.
Well, my methodology is just keep moving. Actually, when I wake up, feels like arthritis, painful to the touch, even to get walking, and then I just tell myself to get walking, and then it warms up.
Right. And of course, movement is always the best medicine. You know what I mean? Oh, it's always the best medicine.
If it's sore, move it slowly.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's then we can, dissect it and then ask okay, well, why is it, right? And then we can start to, unwind it a little bit, and then potentially start adding certain specifics in order to remove or mitigate the dysfunction over time.
Okay.
Right? Which is the correctives behind it. So.
Okay.
Cool. So we took a look at the feet, we took a look at the ankles. What you want to do, especially with the feet, just every day. The minute you get out of bed, right? The minute you get out of bed, play with your toes.
Okay.
Play with your toes. Like the minute you get out of bed, reduce any compensation, turn your feet on, turn your body on, and
Can you do front foot stretches too? I like to do
you
that.
Can stretch those out. If they feel good, do it, right? My rule is like, if it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Right?
I get my neck in it too. I'm, like, I'm Mr. Dynamic Stretch.
Yeah, so the minute you get out of bed, hit those up, right? Every day. And there's no specific amount of time, there's no specific amount of duration or weeks or anything like that. It's like, we should be doing it every day for the rest of our life.
So
right?
Gravity's pulling on us, and then our motion's pulling on us. So any kind of compensation we can do with our training will help us moving forward.
Exactly. And then it's like, when you're training, you're consciously being aware, like, are my feet grabbing the ground? Do I have these little feet prisons on when I work out? The only reason I'm wearing them is because fucking spiky rocks everywhere, right? But like, are we wearing shoes in the gym? Well, maybe we can try taking them off to be more consciously aware of where the earth is at underneath us, and that might actually benefit us more, right? So barefoot training.
Barefoot training. Are the minimalist shoes good? People ask me all the time.
100%.
Okay, so Vivo, Vibram. I'm sponsored by Vibram. Earth Runners. I really dig the Earth Runners. I want to get those for you.
You're just telling me those.
So those are good.
Yeah, those are all good. Minimalist shoes, like, if you do have to wear shoes, like, wear those. Like, I wear the Vivo, like, dress shoes out when I go out to dinner, you know, because they have, like, leather ones I go out to dinner with them.
Nice.
You know, I'd rather wear those than, like, these, like, little pointy shoed ones and, you know, like, jam everything in.
Yeah.
Right? So that's that. Took a look at the ankles, right? Definitely just mobilize them. Even if you just rock back and forth, right? Get that passive range, but then actively lift it, right? Get the strengthening up, and then do your ankle circles that you didn't do before.
Charlene, I got it.
Yeah. So then you said you had some stuff with the hip now, some glute stuff.
I got some glute stuff down here. It's been a little stagnant, and then I had a varicose vein taken out on this line, and I do feel some stagnation. This is like one of my biggest relieving stretches. When I'll shove my elbow in where I've gotten the varicose vein. It's like stagnation type of thing. And then this just gets my IT band. This just really rocks that. For some reason it gets the piriformis, and I know because of the laxity in my joints, it's probably not the best stretch, even though it feels good.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you have great passive range, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, now we want to look at, like, actively, right? So go and lay on your stomach, bro.
Lay on the stomach.
Yeah, lay on your stomach. All right, you said it's the left one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So just relax.
If you can.
All right, I'm just going to check pass real quick. Hold on. So try not to hit myself in the junk. All right. So. So now what I want you to do is keep that leg locked out and actively lift it for me without using your back. Just emulate just what I did. Yeah, see, and you like to rotate out, go back down, and then lift up a little bit slower. There. So you compensate right there, right? That's where the rotation occurs, which is substantially relax, less than what we can achieve passively, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill the shit out of that motherfucker, right? So come on up to your hands and knees, and then what I want you to do is get into like a pigeon pose, right?
Come stand over here if you can.
Yeah, go and get into a right pigeon pose, right? So put your right leg in front. Oh, other one. The other right. Military right. There you go. Now just kind of brace yourselves on your forearms down here. There you go. All right. So now what I want you to do, curl this heel up to your butt cheek. Yep. So do like a hamstring curl. Do a hamstring curl. Kind of bend your knee. Yeah. Squeeze that. Right. You're gonna feel that turn on right now, right? If this cramps up, right, that's a sign of neurological confusion.
Oh yeah.
Right? So if it cramps, I want you to fight through the cramp. Okay.
Yep.
At no point in time are you gonna do that. Not gonna do it. So now with this leg here, since it's blocked, right, you're not gonna be able to compensate here. Right, we're not gonna be able to rotate, but we also want to make sure that the pelvis is level and square there. Hold right there. I'm gonna hold you in place. So now, just be consciously aware of where that pelvis is at. Hold that, right? Get some good breathing in, right? Fill that belly with air. There you go. Good. Try not to breathe into up here. Try to breathe only in that belly. Try to breathe low into your shorts. There you go. Now breathe in, expand, hold that pressure in. And now shallow breathing through the nose. Good. Don't lose this belly pressure right here. All right, this is what's going to give us the intra-abdominal pressure. That's what's going to give us that good core stability here. Right? Keep squeezing that. And now what I want you to do I want you to lift that back leg off the ground. 10, 9, 8, keep this, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, let it parachute down slow. Good, stay right there. So now keep this again, right? Don't shift any of your body weight forward this time. Right, I'm gonna hold you in place. And now what I want you to do, squeeze that hamstring as hard as you can. Hard as you can, hard as you can, hard as you can. Keep squeezing it, keep squeezing it, keep squeezing it. And now, slow as you can, lift off the ground. Keep squeezing that hamstring as hard as you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, squeeze that hamstring. 3, 2, 1, relax.
Oof.
There it is.
It nailed the other piriformis.
Uh-huh.
In the pigeon pose.
So you're also gonna get this stretch here.
Yeah.
Right, so we get this end range external rotation here. We get the almost end range extension here, right? Even if you were to get deeper into this, you can get that a little bit more, but we still want you to be able to lift off, right? So if you're unable to lift off, that's probably where I'd have you like pail and rail, which is a conversation for another time. But since you are about 10% less than your end range, then we can do these lift offs here, right? And since you said that
just like that?
Yep, but again, from here, we want to squeeze the hell out of the hamstring, right? And then, without compensating, see how your weight's dumping forward?
Yeah.
Keep your weight here, right? Keep everything grounded and centered, almost like you're trying to push the ground away. So flatten the forearms and try to push the ground that way, right? That's going to give you that counterbalance right there. See that?
Oh my God, it's so fucking hard.
Yep, but you're going to lift off, and I want you to hold for 10 seconds, right?
Okay.
8 to 10 second holds. So squeeze that hamstring in. Hold. Don't let it go down. Now don't let me push down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, don't shift, don't shift, don't shift, 2, 1, relax. There you go. A little bit of end range training for you.
So that was like just a bunch of activation, right?
Yeah, man, positional isometrics. Positional, like isometrics are king. Like if we don't have function of something, or if we have stiffness or tightness, right? That's a lot of the times that is an implication of weakness, right? So position ourselves in our most delicate positions, in our end range positions, so that way we can start strengthening all of our ranges, right? And you said you have a lot of flaccidity in your joints, right? A lot of lax joints, and they're very loose.
I think I'm just a highly flexible kind of.
Yeah. So then it's
but I've had other practitioners say that there's laxity in my joints.
Yeah. So I mean, being very flexible and being very like bendy, where we can get into all these different positions, but it's like, can we create strength within all of those positions, right? How do we create strength in all of those yoga poses and all of those deep stretches? You know, how can we expand the functionality, right? It's not just about being like flexible or mobile, but it's like durability, right? Flexible, mobile, stable, strong, all of those combined.
Okay, so let's review, because we covered a lot today. So I'm going to be doing some isometrics on the feet, picking the toes up, waking up in the morning, getting everything going, and then I'm going to do this. I'm going to do both sides, right? So I'll do pigeon pose, flex my hamstring, get it up off the ground, pay attention to my biomechanics.
Yes.
Right? Flat everything, breathe.
Breathe a lot.
breathe a lot. So we're filming for you guys, but probably if we had no distractions, we could set down more, and I'd probably be exhausted coming out of, because I'm a little tired right now. And I've been through some of this stuff with other Czech practitioners in the past, and these little intricate moves, these micro little things, these nervous system activations, they exhaust the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, it's neural drive, just neural drive. So let's go ahead and get nice and tall, all right? Let's go and make sure your roots are nice and strong, right? Get a little bit wider with the base, just so that we can, there we go. So now what I want you to do is just go ahead and have eyes straight forward. And all I want you to do is just pull your chin and roll down to your chest. Yep, and then go all the way down to your chest. Right, try not to slouch here, come back up. All right, so again, we're isolating only this stuff, only the neck stuff, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna go transition 1 to position 1, down. Okay. Now we're gonna go, stay right there, stay right there, stay right there. We're gonna go through this full range. I'm gonna check some things out. If you feel any pinching or anything catching at all, let me know. Okay, and again, we're just exploring that range that you have. So now we're gonna go transition to position 2. So what I want you to do is I want you to look to the right, trace your collarbone with your chin. There you go. See how your chin kind of jut forward there?
Mm-hmm.
Right, we want, so we need to work on your right neck rotation. Feel that pulling back here?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. No pinching, no pain?
No.
Okay, cool. So now from the very side of the neck here, right, I want you to laterally flex. So ear over shoulder like you're dumping water out. Good. Try not to lean back with the body. There, only the neck. Right,
There's a little pinch there now.
A little pinch. Where's the pinch? On this side.
Mm-hmm.
So open angle pain.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So stay right there. Since we have open angle pain, right, we're gonna do a little Pales test, okay? So feel how you went ear over shoulder on this side.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to gently push your head into my hand and reverse that flex over the shoulder. Good. That's good tension right there. Just meet my resistance. Just meet my resistance. Good. Keep breathing. And now relax. Take that ear over your shoulder one more time. Right? Is it still there?
Yeah, it's a little bit. You know, it's there.
Okay. Is it less though or more? Less, same, more?
A little bit less.
A little bit less? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. So less is good, right? That just tells me that, simply put, if you put your head over here and we have a pinch on the opposite side or a pull like that, right? This open angle pain, you just place that hand right there. You give yourself an 8 to 10 second isometric, right? And then you just relax it, right? Right? And if for whatever reason it doesn't go away, or if it gets worse by doing that, that's when you want to get some manual therapy done, right?
Okay.
Me personally, I like using FR practitioners, functional range release practitioners, because they actually go into all that stuff. They go into the bioflow stuff. So ear over shoulder still. And now from my finger right here, I want you to go into full extension. So go and roll your head all the way back, look up at the sky, all the way to now what we call position 4. Good. So position 1, 2, 3, 4. Any pinching or pain there?
No.
No, good. Now you're gonna roll.
I want to stretch this though.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And then you can even put your hand on your chest and you can just kind of pull down, right? That'll give you a nice little fascial stretch there. All right, so now we're gonna go move into position 5. So I want you to roll left ear over left shoulder now. So stay right there. Yep. Now I want you to kind of just come this way. There you go. Any pinching there?
Yep.
You got a pinch in there?
Same pinch.
So that would be the closing angle pain. So that's completely different from the last time. So essentially, what this signifies, right, closing angle pain, is it's normally an issue on the opposite side of the neck here, right?
Okay.
So what we'd want to do is to resolve that issue, what we'd want to do is we want to reverse it. So come to here, right? And just anchor to where we're in this position here. Right, and now you should actually feel more of a stretch there.
I'm feeling a stretch.
All right, so now that we have that stretch, you're gonna take your right hand, let's reach over the top, hold that stretch for me, right? And how you'd correct this on your own, right? And don't forget, we still want a slight rotation with the flex here. So that way we can get that line of pull established, right? So you're gonna hold this stretch for like 2 minutes. All right, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna fight yourself, right? From 20% up to 100%, and then we're gonna try to create more activation in the direction that you're stretching into right now. And then you hold that isometric 8 to 10 seconds, and then hold for another 2 minutes, right? So again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to expand this capsule, expand this joint in the neck here, right? There you go. There you go, and just try to breathe through that. Try to breathe only through the nose. Try to breathe into the belly only. Get that parasympathetic breathing going. Yep, I know. Try to give it a little. Yeah, you got some stuff going on in there. Just right at the top of that scap. Yeah. Good. Just hold it right there. There you go. Try to breathe through it. Don't lose that rotation in the head. Kind of tuck the chin a little bit. There you go, right there. There it is. Just hold that there. Good. Try to wrap this hand all the way to the top for me. There we go, right there. All right, 'cause and you're about to fight yourself a little bit.
Beautiful stretch. Oh.
So yeah, anywhere you have closing angle pain, always go the opposite direction and just completely 180 of that one in terms of the neck.
Oh, it's releasing. Oh.
And this is why we hold the stretch for 2 minutes or more, because if we don't hold the stretch 2 minutes or more, it doesn't really do anything. You know, if we don't stretch at least 2 minutes, it serves as only a short-term analgesia, which is like taking Advil for your body, not knowing that if you take the Advil when you have a headache, that 3 hours, 4 hours later, it's probably going to come back, right? Instead of going to the root of it and saying, no, I have a headache because I need to drink more water, right? It's kind of the same thing. There you go. There you go. Keep holding that stretch. You'll drive that, pull that down with the elbow a little bit. Pull your elbow down a little bit. There we go. Good. Okay, keep that good angle going. All right, so now that we've held about 2 minutes, right, I want you to fight yourself. So whatever direction you're pulling your head into, I want you to push your head into your hand at about 20%, 20%. And then 1% at a time, I want you to increase up to 30, meeting your resistance up to 40. Good. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, your safest 100, and now remove your head from your hand. Hold. Right now, what I want you to do is tuck that chin, resist. Don't let me push your head. Don't let me push your head. Keep creating that isometric. Right, create it on your own now. This is our rails contraction. All right, so 8 to 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take your hand, find a deeper stretch, about 10% of it, right? Keep that angle going with the head rotation as well. There, and hold that. Tuck the chin a little bit. There, feel that pull all the way up in there now. Good, now you're gonna hold this 2 minutes.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep, I know. Breathe here. Breathe here. Good, good expansion. Yep, try to expand the belly. Expand the belly. There you go. Bring all that down. Also pulled all that stuff out of your scap too. That's nice. Find it straight on. Turn your head to the left. Just your head. Just your head. And now pull down. There. Yep. Make sure you don't lose that spot. Try to breathe only through the nose here. There you go. Oh, I got about 30 more seconds left. Good. Bring the chin down. There you go. And then look to the left. Yep, not with the body though. There, just look to the left. Chin down. There we go. Hold there. Good. Breathe through it. Breathe through it. If you want, you can even add some median nerve flossing. Right? Small circles. Stretch the fingers away like you're shooting energy beams out. There we go. Small circles, small circles, small circles. Tennis ball sized. There you go. That opens up all this stuff here. Open up that brachial plexus where all these nerves start to branch out. And you get your radial, your ulnar, your median.
Oh, there it goes.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Slowly let this out.
Oh.
Good. Relax.
Oh my God. Hallelujah. Holy shit.
This fucking guy's seeing Jesus right now. I mean.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That totally released.
Good.
Yeah, you know, it feels like it was really stretched, so I got to be careful with my movements after. But it released. It was kind of deep.
Yeah, and then I'm going to take you through one more of those cars, one of those neck circles, okay? So that way, again, be super easy. We're only moving maybe 20-30% effort when we move through our cars. Same thing with your ankle circles, right?
Yeah.
Do only about 20 to 30% intensity and tension.
Okay.
Right. So now going to roll all the way.
So
down.
what you're saying is just get the mobility in there.
Yeah.
When it comes to ankle rolls.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
That's good. That's good to recognize because my aggressive mind wants to do 100% all the time.
Of course. Of course. So now bring that chin all the way down your chest. Good. So you're almost like you're tucking down, roll it down. There you go. And now let's look to the right, graze the collarbone. Good. Ear over shoulder. Good. Try not to lean with your body. Try to just flex sideways from the neck. Good. All the way. There you go. How's that feel over there? Better?
Yeah.
Good. And now we're going to roll all the way up. Look at the sky. Nice and easy. Good. Try not to let the body move. Only the neck. Only the neck. Isolate the neck, right? I know we're integrated beings, but we're really just trying to isolate here. And now roll all the way, left ear over left shoulder. How's that one feel?
It's still a little pinchy here.
Still a little bit? Okay. Well, I'll get some manual work on that too. But those pills and rails will definitely help, right? And then you come down, and then you swivel back to the front, and then back up. Yeah. How'd that feel?
Well, good. I mean, that was like a big chiropractic adjustment. It was probably stuck for a long time. I could just feel all the glue for the last few years up there.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm getting some manual therapy today.
Yeah. Yeah, just have them work that out. And then on your own, anytime that flares up, right, it's like, oh, it pinches, right? Opposite direction, hold that stretch 2 minutes, fight yourself 20 to 100%, activate, hold it in place. That's where you can go 100, right? That's where you want your 100. And then relax and find a deeper stretch. Hold another 2 minutes, right? That's something you can do on your own. It's called a paling rail.
Okay.
Right? Progressive angle isometric load, regressive angle isometric load. By lengthening the tissue, it now becomes the progressive angle in terms of the spine. If we were to do that flexion over the shoulder, right, this angle gets smaller, so that's our regressive angle, right? So since we want to address strengthening this side of the joint, this now becomes a progressive angle. So we progressively load, regressively load, which then alleviates all that stuff back here, all that shit back here. We get it all out of there. And now we're focused, instead of always activating here, we activate the entire opposite side. Right? It's basically like PNF on steroids for both sides of the joint. That's all it really is.
Right.
Right?
Well, that's great. And this, you know, it's very simple, but it's also has its own complication because there's nuances. There's super small nuances. So until you learn these strengthening and stretching exercises, go see a professional. And here's the thing with your neck pain and your back pain, and whatever you think, or the doctors want to do surgery and knee surgery and neck surgery and back surgery and all that stuff, go see him first. Get an assessment, understand your biomechanics and what's possible without drugs and surgery. So where can people find out more information about you, Nathan?
Yeah, so you can find my website. It's www.newintention.com. It's N-E-U intention. And then just Instagram at Nathan Kohlerman. It's the best places to find me.
So great. Well, thanks a lot. And I'll come down to the office and we'll do some more intense work.
Oh, yeah.